With the recent release of Assassin's Creed's Valhalla back in November 2020 and its highly acclaimed reception, I thought about going back to the previous installment of Assassin's Creed franchise and see how it stacks up in 2021 and if it's still worth it. Especially that you would probably be able to get it at a discounted price nowadays. As per their usual, Ubisoft releases a new Assassin's Creed almost every year. And Odyssey had exactly 1 year of difference between it and the previous installment, Origins. Usually with that short of a period between two installments, the game doesn't turn out to be that great, especially that we can't help but compare them to each other. Today we will be checking throughout this review if they enhanced the experience and did a better game, or it was just a copy of its predecessor and they made it worse. What's up everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review and today we are reviewing Assassin's Creed Odyssey a bit over 2 years after the release. Before diving deeper, if you haven't subscribed yet and you check below, I'm right on that 1000 subscribers marker. It could be you that actually tips me over. Hit that subscribe button, it would be hugely appreciated and hopefully we can hit that 1000 subscribers. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So this time around, Ubisoft takes us back to ancient Greece with a slice of the story taking place in Sparta. The game's historical story is set 400 years before the events of Assassin's Creed Origins. It recounts a secret mythological history set during the Peloponnesian War, which was fought between the city-states of Greece. The player takes on the role of a mercenary and is able to fight for the Delian League, led by Athens, or the Peloponnesian League, led by Sparta. The game's main storyline has the player character attempting to restore their fractured family after some events, which I'll not be mentioning for the sake of spoilers. Parallel quest lines deal with the extirpation of a cult spanning the Greek world, having you assassinate its prime members, a bit similar to some of the old Assassin's Creed installments, in addition to the discovery of artifacts and monsters from the Atlantean times. Odyssey places more emphasis on role-playing elements than previous games in the series. The game contains dialogue options, branching quests, and multiple endings. The player is able to choose between sibling Alexios and Cassandra as to whom they use as the main character at the beginning of the game. Make sure you choose correctly as you can change the character mid-game. The game features as well a notoriety system in which mercenaries chase you if you commit crimes like killing or stealing in the presence of others. As for the missions, they share a big resemblance to the previous installment, Origins. Most story missions are good, but some side missions feel a bit repetitive after a while. The game, as usual with every installment, introduces famous historical figures like Leonidas, Archimedes II, Herodotus, Socrates, and many others. A pretty cool feature available on almost every Assassin's Creed that I actually never get bored of. It always feels that you went into a time machine to meet all those historical figures. And as always with all the Assassin's Creed's installments, there will be a mention for the Assassins, Templars, Abstergo, and the Animus of course. So overall, for the story itself, I would say it is good, but definitely not the best in the series, as there were definitely some installments with way better story. Coming to the gameplay, if you have played Origins, then you will find almost nothing new. The fighting mechanics, quests, inventory, and abilities are all pretty similar. Don't get me wrong, they are not bad, but if you played Origins, then you won't feel a huge upgrade when it comes to those parts. As I mentioned in my Origins review, I still miss the old fighting mechanics that were in Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag if you have played those games. By the way, I'll be putting a link for my Origins review video if you would like to check it out. Also, the same ranks or levels system that was in Origins is present here as well. To explain it real quick, your character starts the game at level 1 and you upgrade your level by finishing main and side missions. So basically it would be kind of impossible to attack a camp or an enemy with a much higher level, as your damage and strength will be very weak compared to them. And it would be only a waste of time if you try doing that. Coming to the assassinations and stealth part, if you are a fan of the series like me or even played any of the old installments, you would notice immediately as Origins it is almost gone. Yes, there are still assassinations targets and stealth missions, but they are not played in a stealthy way and definitely not as the old installments. You can almost complete most assassinations by barging in and killing everyone in your sight. Most of the combat now is head-on style, focusing more on dodging, blocking and parrying, with a small number of missions that includes stealth. Also, whenever you level up, you unlock higher level weapons and armor as well. You can also upgrade your weapons at any blacksmith, which are available in the game's market in different cities. But the upgrades are limited by the level you've reached. Again, as Origins, you have a slightly upgraded skill tree system to upgrade your skills throughout the game when acquiring points that you will be acquiring each time you level up. It has 3 main trees to upgrade, which are Warrior, Hunter and Assassin. Each one focuses on upgrading a certain set of skill or increasing some of your abilities. The game as well has an investigation system that is introduced in some of the missions. It is pretty basic, but I thought it is worth mentioning as well. The climbing mechanics are still available in this installment, but I feel it is also kind of fading away from Assassin's Creed games slowly, as most of the game I was on the ground and I only felt the need to climb when I was going to a synchronized point. Other than that, most of the game would be fighting, riding and sailing. Coming to the exploration part in this game, I would say it is good, as there is a lot of good scenery to see around with every new explored area. But a lot of areas in the game feels a bit empty. Like it has good scenery, but there are no missions or anything to interact with there. And probably that's why in the new installment Valhalla they made the map a bit smaller. With this Assassin's Creed installment, the sailing and naval battles are back, as they were missing from Assassin's Creed Origins. Although the graphics and visuals for this part are definitely enhanced, but you will get the feeling that the ship battles here are a bit inferior compared to the previous Assassin's Creed naval battles that were introduced in previous installments. Probably it's done on purpose due to the time period this game is in, but for sure it felt much more fun playing naval battles in the previous Assassin's Creed installments like Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag, for example. As usual, you'll be starting with a very weak ship, and you can upgrade it throughout the game by progressing through the campaign and collecting different types of resources. Ubisoft released for Odyssey 2 DLCs under the name of The Fate of Atlantis and Legacy of the First Blade. Both were released post-launch and both are pretty good. Unfortunately, I won't be able to speak about them in this video as they need a video of their own. So make sure to hit that subscribe and bell icon if you want to check it out when I publish it. But for now, if you have Odyssey and thinking of purchasing the DLCs, I would definitely recommend going for it. Coming to the graphics and visuals part, as always with most Assassin's Creed games, Ubisoft masters that part. Ubisoft introduced in this installment spectacular visuals when it comes to the environment, character models, and the overall world of the game. I have been playing this game since the time it was released, but till today sometimes in some areas of the game I just stand on some of the rooftops to admire the visuals and how they portrayed ancient Greece with breathtaking sceneries. I would even dare to say that although the newer installment Valhalla might have slightly better visuals, but for me this game had way better looking and more colorful environments that would amaze during most of your gameplay of the game. The buildings, the amazingly colored sea and water, the roads, the grass and trees textures, and of course the monuments, everything that this game has to offer when it comes to the visuals and graphics is just amazing and breathtaking. Going around in the game and just watching all of those places is just a joy of its own. The footage you are seeing in most of this video is captured on PC, and I would recommend playing the game on it for the best experience. But still, it looks amazing as well on the consoles, but you will be sacrificing slightly with the frame rates as it's capped on 30 frames per second. Ubisoft are truly the masters when it comes to portraying music that puts you in the right mode in all of the previous Assassin's Creed installments. And I would say they did a pretty good job as well with this installment. They always had the skill of choosing the correct soundtrack that can put you in the right mood depending on the era that the game is portraying. So for the music part, I would say it's a job well done from Ubisoft. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put any music for you to listen to in the video for copyright reasons. But I will leave you with a few clips to check the audio effects and judge it yourselves.
I just want my... Rowers, do your oars! Ramming speed! This looks like a challenge! They're trying to hit us!
Odyssey for sure, as Origins before it, both diverted away from the Assassin's Creed stealth mechanics and the game main concept that we all used to love, and both games introduced whole new combat mechanics to the franchise. And despite Odyssey looking almost identical to Origins when it comes to the combat and the overall game mechanics, still Assassin's Creed Odyssey is one of the best games in the series, and I had a blast playing, exploring and living with its characters in ancient Greece. I would definitely recommend playing it, especially if you are a fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and you might also be able to grab it at a deal as it's a bit over 2 years now. Alright, time to wrap this up. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, then leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.